Sorry. Hello, Duke.
How are you?
Very well, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My question to you this morning is, in light of the findings in the Duggan case, are the government going to consider removing all police from the complaints procedure, as at the moment, complaints against the service can end up in front of an inspector, who will usually find that the officer has done nothing wrong. Now, in the case of, one of the officers in the Duggan case actually released information saying that there had been a gunfight between the police, which we know was a falsehood. And so it cascaded and it smudged the whole scenario.
It should just be said it was the IPCC that actually released that information. Don't go, Duke. Let's get to Mr. Clegg.
Look, Duke, I mean, I think this case of the shooting of Mark Duggan and, of course, the result of the jury, the inquest jury yesterday, I mean, I can totally understand, and I think the Commissioner has been quite right to say this morning that he also understands why that's caused as much anxiety, concern, in some cases outright anger amongst members of his family, friends, the community. I remember going to the community in Tottenham a few days after those events, and speaking actually to many of the people we're now seeing on our television screens, some of the local religious leaders, the local police commanders and so on. By the way, I remain full of admiration for the work that they do to try and keep people's very, very strongly held feelings and disagreements on this peaceful. I think it's very important that the aunt has come out today saying, look, they're going to pursue their case through the courts. It shouldn't be out on the streets. The point I would say to you, I'm sure there are questions that need to be asked, not only about how some of these investigations are conducted. I, for instance, was very struck when I went there that some of the local folk I met said, look, part of the problem is that when an IPCC investigation happens, there's a whole lot of stuff that can't be said. Communication breaks down, in a sense, about the details of the case because it's under investigation exactly at the moment when people need to talk to each other. And that, of course, is a real dilemma, because you have to allow the IPCC the space to investigate. But on the other hand, if that means that people aren't able to talk about often a different interpretation of facts, that can cause space for even greater misunderstanding. But the crucial point...
But can police investigate police is what Duke's driving at.
Well, look, but at the end of the day, in this case, Duke, let's remember, this is a jury. This is a jury, just like a court jury. This is a jury of people just, randomly selected, just like anybody else who's been called up for jury service. It's not the police acting as judge and jury.
But in other cases that don't necessarily get to a 4-month inquest, as we've seen in this instance, broadly speaking, can police sit in judgment of police? Well,
as I say, the whole way in which the IPCC has evolved is in order to make sure that that is done independently of the police, and then in fact there's a lot of sometimes you'll hear quite a lot of people being critical that say that the IPCC is taking too long, or is not giving either police or the community enough access to their thinking as the investigations are going on. This is really, really difficult. This is a very, very difficult time. It's a time of great anxiety in Tottenham. I think the Commissioner is right to say that he's going to go out and meet members of the community. I think he's right to look at things like, for instance, having this pilot where armed police will have cameras, so that in future, where you have these disputed incidents, that you've got more material to be able to make reasoned judgments. We're going to all have to work really hard that at moments of tension like this, people feel that their voices are heard and that disagreements play out peacefully.